time. These magazines wanna feature me, cause they know I'm on the rise. But the attention, I'm on a mission. Cause ever since I flipped that switch, my power can't be denied. Oh my, 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 oh my, my, my. Call me a king, buy me a crown. Oh my, 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 oh my, my, my. I'm leveled up, and this is my world now. This is my world now. So anyone who try to write me off, tell them they can go and write this down. This is my world now. Pay attention, I'm on a mission, and then with a vision. Got a passion, making it happen, ready for action. And this is my world now. This is my world now. So anyone who try to write me off, tell them they can go and write this down. This is my world now. So anyone who try to write me off, tell them they can go and write this down. This is my world now. And this is my world now. And this is my world now. And this is my world now. This is my world now. Hey! Here we go! We coming ready or not, you better steady yourself, because we're raising some hell. There's nothing keeping this roof from blowing on. We're taking over the town, hit the switch and shut it down. Like in New York, we're electric, never stop. We coming ready or not, we coming ready or not. We're giving all that we got, we're giving all that we got. We're coming ready or not. We're throwing gas on the fire, the stratosphere
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Our family started RVing a few years ago, and when I think about all those campfires and fishing trips and sporting events, these are memories that are going to last a lifetime. I want to help others do the same thing. Hi, I'm Kevin Smith, General Manager at the all-new CLICKIT RV in Milton Freewater. People in this community are very familiar with this location and the great service they've always received. So the biggest question we get is, where is Keith? The great news is, Keith is still here.
I've seen a lot of changes. I've seen a lot of things come and go. Through all the changes that we have seen, one thing that has not changed for us is the quality of our service.
Buying an RV is a big purchase, but it should be a fun and happy experience. So whether it be in sales or service or parts, our mission is simple: be the best. From our team here at CLICKIT RV in Milton Freewater, we invite you to come down and experience the difference.
From the Keystone State of virtual Pennsylvania, it is Pocono, the Irish Hills and the Mountains. We welcome you to coverage of 200 miles, 80 laps, the next round of the 10th season of the Northwest Truck Series presented by CLICKIT RV. And after a nice 4th of July break, we are back ready to go on your home for sim racing, LSRTV, and simulcast on CRN, the Community Radio Network. Good Monday night to you. I am Wesley Outland. Justin Prince is alongside, and not only tonight is race night, there's about another 36 minutes left before midnight Eastern time, and I want to wish a happy 59th birthday today to my mom, Roseanne Outland. I would not be the man that I am, that people know me to be, or hear me on these iRacing broadcasts if it wasn't for great people like her. Happy birthday going out to my mom today. Justin, Pocono. It's like a super speedway, but it's not. It's like a short track, but it's not. You could see the big one. You could see long green flag runs. You never know what type of animal Pocono will provide tonight here for the trucks.
Yes, indeed. It's such a difficult racetrack when you think about it, because of how complex the different sections of the track can be with 3 different types of turns, but also just how the truck in turn, you can already see with Devin West, can be difficult to set up here because of that difference. And if you set it up wrong, well, you just seen the result. You end up going slipping and sliding. This is a track that can be known for long runs once you get past those early portions. But if you can't get past those first few runs of short track speed, but also possible calamity, you're in the midst of trouble.
Justin, I got to ask you this question. We haven't raced since 2 weeks ago, and that was a new racetrack at Okayama. Very interesting race course in virtual Japan. Now you go to a track like Pocono, where people could even say it races like a road course because the tracks are configured differently in the turns. The straightaways are longer in different parts of the track than the other. How do you adapt and obviously get back in the saddle after a 2-week absence?
Well, in that case, you basically put in the practice time at least, not just on the night of like this evening, but I mean in the leading couple days forward to make sure you at least have that muscle memory of the truck and how it feels, and make sure you at least have some comfortability. Plus, when it comes to a series like this, remember, they also have to build the setups, and drivers have talked about how they're excited to see if they can flex their setup knowledge muscles. So I think at least you need to be up to have been putting in at least a week of preparation to make sure you're ready to go for it tonight. So in our words, there ain't been a holiday for the race time, but it's not really so much a break to finding speed for these trucks.
No rest for the wicked for sure. Charles Wooten, by the way, in the production truck presented by CLICKIT RV for LSRTV, doing a great job. Clicking the buttons to one fine studio. 99, Troy Daggett finishing up with his qualifying lap. It'll park it between the safer barrier in turn number 1 here as qualifying is ongoing. Well, still a little bit more time left to see who will be able to put down a great lap as right now, unofficially, Kevin Smith. What do you know, Justin Prince? Everything just perfect qualifying-wise for Kevin Smith. Not anymore. Another Win Racing teammate, Ryan Bloom, just bumps him. The 25 of Ryan Bloom, 53.831. That's the new fast time. And here comes Christopher White, truck number 47.
Yeah, right now, Chris White amongst those who has gone back and forth in terms of speed. Usually it's been floating around 10th to 12th on the field grid this season. But this is a different type of track, I will say, in terms of different drivers come up to different tempos of pace. And this track seems to have that unique style set of, if you're good at 1.5 miles, it's not really that much of a count here because of how big this circuit is. You need to be very good at the drop, but also know just how deep you can get to the point where you start to lift. Really, at this track, for drivers like Chris White, this might be a bit more of an advantage because it almost drives like a super speedway just with lift points.
Ryan Bloom, Kevin Smith, Dennis Moore. Top 3, obviously Dennis Moore is the points leader. 13 starts, JP. No wins. 3 top 5s and 6 top 10s. Consistency for Stab now, and the same could be said for Chris White as he wraps up his lap with 5 top 10s and 1 top 5. And right now he puts himself in the top 20.
We've talked so much about how the importance of being consistent can be the determination of if you're in the championship conversation. Those who likely will not be in that conversation by the time the postseason starts, let alone during the postseason. And the tough thing about this 10th season of the series is now a lot of those respective races follow the RTV schedule. Not so much now. You can't really rely upon your even the most current set of data available for some tracks. You likely have to build on your own for the rest of the schedule. So to put it politely in this matter, you really need to pick it up. I think based on some of the drivers, you want to be at least someone who can be in contention for wins. For reference, right now, the full-time runners, 7 drivers have won races this season. And to be quite frank, you want to be able to have that conversation, if you want to really fight for the title, to be in that list to make it at least up to 10 by the time we start the postseason. There are chances to do so, mind you.
And good field of the trucks, just about ready to wrap up qualifying here with under 10 minutes left to go. Ryan Bloom, Kevin Smith is right now the top 2 on the front row. Here's a look at the Kaufman Creative weather conditions, obviously, in virtual Long Pond, Pennsylvania. Virtual air temp is 75 degrees. Tonight it is clear sky. Sun is out, not partly cloudy. Wind speed comfortable at 1 to 2 miles an hour. The track temp at 106. Justin, I have to say this, and shudder to hear your response. Pristine weather conditions, if you will, for tonight's race, no doubt.
Yes, indeed. Very hot, that track condition, mind you. But at this time, I'm thinking that's going to drop eventually, especially based on the averages we've seen at Pocono. But more so, that air temp, going to be something to consider. Remember, drivers now can't really adjust those tape figures. So really, you better hope you don't damage that nose, because otherwise, you might be in a bit of trouble depending on how much that race tape can put you on the temperatures.
Qualifying, any other takers? Well, right now we mentioned the front row. Obviously, Dennis Moore, Toby Ritters. Hey, what about Toby Ritters? What a run in qualifying for him. And there's right now 2 other trucks that need to take time. Scott Hutchinson and Chris Camary. Here is the next truck to qualify, the 41 Nicole Bryan photography entrant, Stephen O'Hare. Been kind of a quiet season, Justin, for the driver of the number 41 Ford.
Yeah, and so far he's had some speed in a couple races. We've seen him up towards the top 5s. Yes, that too, of course. But really, outside of that one win and a few of those top 5s, it's been boom or bust. That win came at Kansas, mind you, where he was able to lead the final 3 laps, so he didn't really even dominate. He's only led 8 laps this season, so the win, even in amongst itself, isn't really the antithesis of the average speed. Half the races this season, in fact, only 5 times, he has not gotten into an incident or had an incident point, including the road course at Okayama, where he didn't even finish that race. He finished 17th. So it's been difficult to keep consistency where he is not involved in an incident. You need to clean that up to win a championship.
And I think the clock just expired for him as well. He's not even going to be able to make time. Winner of race 5 of the season. We get ready now for round 15. Let's go racing qualifying here for 200 miles at Pocono. Ready, the field is set on the pole. Ryan Bloom on the pole, the 25 to the outside. Kevin Smith, Win Racing, row 1. Row 2, Dennis Moore, obviously the points leader. He'll fire off in the number 3 spot to his outside. What a run for Clifford. Toby Ritters in the 23. He's 4th. Row 3, Devin West and Stephen O'Hare. His time was able to be allowed. He'll crack the top 10 in 6th. Row 4, Dan West Jr. right behind Sun Toe of Devin. And Frank Harris, the legend. What a qualifying run for the 11. And your top 10, Justin Prince, will find Jeff Stabnow and Sean Breitzman, Team LSRTV on row 5.
Row 6, Tyler King looking to charge ahead in the 21 truck. Still alongside Robert Gambill in row 6. Row 7, Brent Johnson. Show flashes of campaign speed this season. Same set for Dan Lutler, who picked up a super speedway win earlier this year. Starts on the outside of row 7. Behind him in row 8, Stephen Paulison. Looking to have a clean run tonight. William Fletcher looking to pick up the tempo. Back out the way in row 9, Troy Dagan. We kept an eye on his qualifying lap. Looking for a massive improvement in this run. He'll start alongside Ron Hunter. And rounding up the top 20, Chris White deep in the field. Did not look comfortable at times in quali. Chris Kynes starts alongside, looking for kindness in truck 20.
Rest of the lineup will find Joshua Cushman at 95. Good to see him back. John Annenbacher, row number, if you will, 12. Was going to find Carl Burke and B.J. Titter. Gets a field, rolls off pit road. Row 12, row 13, Chris Camary and Scott Hutchinson, the 91. 26 drivers ready to go for, again, 200 miles, 80 laps. I thought we had a new pit reporter for our series on Monday nights. James Vining was supposed to be joining us as a pit reporter for our broadcast, but I don't think per se we've got him in place yet. So hopefully we'll be able to work on that for the coming week. But right now, Justin Prince, the field is ready to go down the back stretch, if you will. This is off of turn number 1 going into turn number 2. And again, this is a very unique racetrack, a triangle 2.5 mile speedway. You think of 2.5 miles.
These trucks, you're basically going your full throttle up towards your lift point in turn 1. if you're able to carry more momentum, you're better off for that run up to the tunnel turn. That tunnel turn, you have to let the truck breathe or at least go to half throttle. Can't get too low on the apron or else you spin it out. Turn 3, similar to turn 1 on that entry point, but different in how you attack it. And it's very critical to make sure you have the truck sealed for all sections of the racetrack, but also know those marks. You lift too early, that could be half a second difference on the lap alone.
Pace car is in. We're ready to go after a week off for 4th of July. Round 15. Trucks Northwest underway. Pocono, you have a virtual race. Bloom on the inside, Smith on the outside. Team Win Racing up the banking. They'll work their way into turn number 1 and 2.
Working on the outside, Smith tries to wrap it towards the outside group to Bloom. Bloom shuts the door on his teammate. Now Win Racing 1, 2, 3. How about 1, 2, 3, 4? Tommy Ritters clears on by Devin West. They make their way to the tunnel turn for the first time. Looking to get single file. Dan West Jr. side by side with Stephen O'Hare still 4th to 6-5.
Off that tunnel turn into that second turn now, down another short chute of the racetrack. They'll work their way now into turn number 3. Bottom of the racetrack now. Devin West makes his move on Ritters. This is going on for 4th. Meanwhile, Ryan Bloom works off the corner, storms down the straightaway, the longest part of the racetrack at Pocono. He'll lead lap number 1. 200 miles, 80 laps, 79 to go. Ryan Bloom, single file, top 3 into 1.
Ryan Bloom take advantage of clean air all while Dan West Jr. still trying to bend up. Stephen O'Hare up the racetrack at a turn 2, nearly the safer barrier with a wiggle. Frank Harris from 10th spot also nearly doing the same. They keep it clean as they work their way to the tunnel turn. Single file. Dan West Jr. trying to keep up with the son, Devin West. Still 2 truck lengths back as they go to the tunnel turn.
To the tunnel turn now, back again off that second turn. I see now Devin West and Rick Clifford. Toby Ritter still alongside one another. This is probably best battle on the racetrack, as right now Ryan Bloom, the leader, opens up the lead now on his teammate Kevin Smith. Here comes Dennis Moore, the points leader, in 3rd. There's that battle behind them as they cross the line and they work back to 1.
Devin West, remember, had a crash on the second lap of his qualifying effort, trying to make up for it to the inside in turn 1 to make up that track position. Toby Ritters gives space. Ritters nearly scrapes the wall. Devin West comes off cleanly inside the top 4. 1 second back of the leader. Not quite over yet on their poke towards the tunnel turn, all while others get a little bit calmer. The pack's already starting to form. Robert Gambill, the tail end of the lead group, to the tunnel turn.
Fastest lap of the race just a moment ago by the leader, the Chevrolet of Ryan Bloom, 54.713 seconds. He is fast around the racetrack right now. It is lap number 3 when they come to the line. Ryan Bloom, Kevin Smith, Dennis Moore, Devin West, Dan West Jr. on board now with Sean Breitzman. He makes a run into the top 10. He sets his sights on the 11 of Harris back to 1.
Breitzman surprisingly deeper towards the field in this qualifying run. It's been hit or miss at times this season in Q. Remember, he's also been big on pushing the strategy. This is a track known for lots of different strategies. Still though, all this as well, some of the drivers up ahead are starting to square up a little bit. Jeff Stout now amongst those looking to move for 8th position. Toby Ritters dropping quickly back to the 8th spot. Stout now to 7th with the pass through the tunnel turn.
By the way, Kevin Smith just set fast time in the race, 54.676 behind his teammate. In that second spot, the 00 right now. Ryan Bloom, Kevin Smith, Dennis Moore, 1, 2, and 3. Devin West just set the fast time. 3 laps in a row, 3 fast times, 54.550. Devin West in 5th. Correction, in 4th, he's back to 1.
Everyone getting a little bit tighter. That's to be expected when it comes to the tire wear at this track. You push too hard on the throttle, you burn up the right front tire. Kevin Smith, despite the dirty air, looking to square things up to the tunnel turn. Ryan Bloom, stronger on entry, a little bit steeper on the sends. Smith better from the exits up to the entry points. Working through turn 3. Smith looking to see if he can save behind Ryan Bloom.
Off of turn number 3, what turn 4? Ryan Bloom, still the man leading. There's Smith right there in tow. They're 1 and 2. There's Dennis Moore. Win Racing 1, 2, 3. Then it's LSRTV. 4th and 5th for that team. Father, son, West family. And as we move into the second half of the schedule before the playoffs, if you will, Justin, as they work down the back stretch, the West family in the Northwest has been absolutely impressive. No doubt on dirt, for the trucks, for the Xfinity Series program that will not come back until after Labor Day. They have really been top contenders on the series.
And that's been difficult to do, to be able to establish yourself as the dominant organization. Win Racing came out strong, as we know. But especially with how things have played on the Team LSRTV, it's almost become, okay, we're better at this track, says Win Racing. Next time out, LSRTV responds with their own speed at another 1.5 miles or a similar type of track. The thing is, from what we've seen, Dan West Jr. has been really impressive leading that way for that organization. But it's almost been not even the same types of 1.5 miles. It's been consistent too. Tracks like Texas, you lean towards Win Racing. Tracks like Chicagoland, we've seen a lot of long run pace from some of the LSRTV trucks. It's to where it's almost a tug of war on who's got the better run.
O'Hare and Stabnow. This is for 6th and 7th. So we pick up the top 5 again, working off the corner. Dennis Moore, trunk full. The tailgate from the front end of the machine of Devin West on his back door. Working back into the corner, Dan West Jr. follows in tow. 8 laps now, working lap 7, of 80. This is 200 miles around Talladega, 2.5 mile track. 80 laps the distance. This is the equivalent of what the ARCA series normally runs here whenever they run at Pocono. Right now, looking good. Ryan Bloom comfortably in the lead, but honestly, Justin, still a lot of racing left to go as we watch now Dennis Moore under attack for 3rd from Devin West in the corner.
Devin West showing a lot of great long run speed. He's picked up 4/10 in the past 3 laps alone to the inside down the front straightaway, right to the quarter panel of Dennis Moore. Moore gives a little space, about a half truck length difference. Dan West Jr. looking to follow his son, Devin West. Deeper below the first seam, makes the pass, move Devin West to 3rd.
Off of that first turn, now they work their way down that short chute to the back stretch, now to the tunnel turn. Off of turn number 2, they're quickly approaching it. Look at those cones in the way on the safer barrier to let them know where they need to make that corner. They do now do that arc off that second turn. And all the while, it is still Ryan Bloom, the leader. Devin West again, now getting around Dennis Moore. Dan West Jr. is in the middle of that Dennis Moore West sandwich off the corner.
Dan West Jr. getting a little bit squirrely, gets a little bit of the trap. Now utilizing the double toe. Looking around, Dennis Moore as well in front. No peek out from Dan West Jr. No space fully. Likes to stay up in the line. Let's keep things together on the bottom. Both drivers, in fact, in the grouping going all the way to the yellow line as everyone starts to get into a 5-truck choo-choo train.
The speed of these trucks as they work their way back off into the corner off the tunnel turn, into that second turn now. And nonetheless, it is still great job there by Ryan Bloom, still leading the way. Again, there's still a lot of racing left to go here. And all the while with 10 in next time around, 70 to go, Justin Prince. Ryan Bloom is on the tear for Win Racing to have another impressive race. And again, you know, you look at the beginning of this race, and we've said it several times throughout the year, it is a it is a Win Racing versus LSRTV racing team battle. It seems like it happens that way every week.
Every single week we just had a bit of this discussion. You also throw in a couple times Beaver State Racing, where they've tried to pull a strategy. How about some of those Beaver State Racing trucks battling on track right now? John Brightsman to the outside of one of the LSRTV machines. Stefan O'Hare on the inside. Already having to play a little bit of defense with Tyler King in front of them both. Tyler King can't get to the outside though. Brightsman looking to make the pass on the outside group for 8.
Straight away, heading back into that first turn. Sean Brightsman now getting some company from Tyler King. King will drift up in front of him. He'll drift up in front of O'Hare as well. This will also make the other machine, the Aerokinetics machine of Robert Gamble, outside the top 10, close in tow with those trucks as they work their way down in the short chute into turn 2.
Back single file for the most part. Give credit to Robert Gamble. He's been able to stay within some of these hunts so far. The difficult part, though, of getting to a position to make a pass. This is a racetrack that can be excessively difficult to get alongside, especially even with the draft effect. Gamble trying to build up a run outside. Gets within about a quarter truck going to O'Hare. Make it within a tenth of a truck length. Gamble in a spot to go inside, looking to do so into 1.
You gotta love the quality of these races in 4K. Just one of the only networks for iRacing. Actually, I think we are the only one that does 4K broadcasting right now. 4K, Ultra HD quality. Watching the trucks working their way around Pocono. It looks just like the real deal. 13 of 80 laps, and right now it's still Ryan Bloom. Kevin Smith. Dead. Well, now new change of the lead. Kevin Smith just got around Ryan Bloom.
Just about to say, that's a lot bit different, and Kevin Smith had been trying to square things up on Ryan Bloom for a while. Trying to force Ryan Bloom to burn up his equipment. Guess what? Kevin Smith's tire saving working for now. That's why Kevin Smith's out of the point. Speaking of that battle, by the way, that's been going on now for 10th. Gambo's trying a second swing inside. O'Hare up to the third line. Gambo first line. Lines converge. O'Hare clears.
So Kevin Smith now, the new leader. They work their way storming down the straightaway. There you see him. Smith around Bloom. Bloom now under attack by Devin West and Dennis Moore. There you see Stefan O'Hare. And that's probably, they're saying, the best battle on the racetrack in the top 10. Gamble in tow. So is also Brett Johnson, as that works on off the short chute into turn 2. Working off the third turn back to the line.
Gamble still cannot fully make things go, and that's the difficult part. It's getting it done without burning up stuff. Speaking of burning things up, Dennis Moore having to work to the inside, looking to try and regain third. Dan West Jr. outside as well. Side by side, 44 and 55. Dennis Moore slams the door in front of Dan West Jr.'s face. They go back in the line. Now getting a little bit blocky here into the tunnel turn.
15 of 80 laps completed right now. Chris Camary, Scott Hutchinson, by the way, did not take the green flag. 24 trucks on track. Let's give you the full field rundown, Justin and I will. Kevin Smith is the leader. Ryan Bloom is second. Devin West is third. Dennis Moore is fourth. Dan West Jr. the top 5. Toby Ritters is 6th. Jeff Stabnow is 7th. Sean Brightsman 8th. Tyler King 9th. And Stefan Hare the top 10. Halfway through the field, if you will, Robert Gamble and Brett Johnson, Justin, your top 12.
13th spot currently held on by Harris. Lowther, White, Paulison amongst the top 16, 11 seconds, the difference between them and the leader. Annenbacher back in the 17th spot. Troy Daggett running 18th, just battling, in fact, with Annenbacher currently. Then you have Carl Burke, BJ Tidrick, the top 20. Fletcher, Hunter, Kais, and Cushman at the back of the field. A 16-second separation, 1st to 24th, currently on this racetrack. Expect that to potentially expand with how this is turning into a green flag roam type of night.
Devin West looking to make a run on Ryan Bloom off of turn number 3, off the corner, back down to the straightaway. He now battles for the number 2 spot. Bloom on the outside. He'll throw the block and try to make the move to hold off the inside advances of Devin West. West, though, reels back in his Chevrolet. He'll also let the Chevrolets of Moore and Father West go after them into turn 1.
Off towards the exit, a slide up from Bloom. The rear tires kick out. Devin West back on the square up. Looking to build the run, gets towards the bumper. Looks to a peak. Can't get the run needed to get alongside for the tunnel turn. Bloom able to get away with that for now, but for how long? Devin West having better grip long run. This is similar to what we've seen at a lot of the bigger tracks this season for the LSRTV trucks.
Bottom of the racetrack now, Devin West in the middle of a win racing sandwich. He about tagged the safer barrier, working off of turn number 3 down the straightaway. And Dan West Jr. now reeling in to help out father and son Devin as they work back into turn number 1. What a save Devin West just made. Justin, another 5 feet the wrong way. He'd have been slamming the safer barrier, putting out our first caution.
Yeah, that is not what you want to do, obviously, with how this tempo of the race is going. But Ryan Bloom at this point absolutely chewing up those rear tires. Devin West at this point having to get that give and take to be able to make sure they don't collide, don't get yourself in disaster. Speaking of drivers going side by side in very treacherous positions, how about the tunnel turn? Troy Daggett way up the track, down Lowther. Losing a spot to Daggett as Daggett makes the 3.5 line somehow work.
Lowther on the inside. Annenbacher now powers around the 63. It's Dan Lowther now in the 18th position. Annenbacher in 17th. Works their way off the corner. Troy Daggett up in front of that battle. Put a 99. Now these guys right now about to put 1/4 of the way through. 1/4, 20 laps next time by will be completed. And right now, Kevin Smith, still the leader, got around the driver, Ryan Bloom, who has fell back all the way to 3rd. Devin West, still the fast man on track, 54.550. And right now, they're all running down the double zero. And there's the caution. First caution of the race is out. We got trouble off of turn number 2 on the short chute there, JP.
And it looks like it was the very back of the pack for a first yellow flag of the evening. And it is Ron Hunter. Let's take a look. New replay buffers. Ron Hunter. Gonna need a faster pair to buff out a lot of this damage. What damage? Well, first of all, the damage of losing points because of no banner change. But second, the damage of getting hit by someone sliding up the racetrack and not be able to hold on to the truck in front of the whole pack.
Oh, wow. Look at the destruction on the updated damage model for these trucks, Justin. Wow.
Yeah, I believe that might have been Carl Burke giving the help there. And you can already tell Joshua Cushman having problems. This was for dead last up to 20th. And Cushman at this point is just trying to just run his line, get to the pit stop in a few laps time, go from there. And then, yeah, drivers pushing tight and slamming off each other like this. Cushman has no idea what is coming by the exit right here. No time to even react. And just avoids the significant damage. But still hits the inside bumps.
That's Joshua Cushman, by the way, the driver of the 95 machine. We'll go under the yellow flag here. A couple of Chevrolets, actually 5 Chevrolets in the top 10 right now. Correction, 6 Chevrolets in the top 10. 1 Toyota with Brightsman. The rest are Fords with Stabnow King and O'Hare. And are you coming to pit road? Yeah, I think they are, Justin. We just completed 1/4 of the race in stage 20 laps in for 60 to go. and you're 50 miles in. I think everybody's coming to pit road, no doubt.
Yeah, this is a window to make it basically a one-stopper from here when you think about the map. Every single driver knows this, every single truck coming in. First chance to make adjustments too, expecting 4 tires and fuel from everyone. At least 3 trucks missing their stalls. 1 truck in the back of the field just slammed into the wall.
Wow.
That was Dan
And the
Lather who
pace
just
car-
slammed into the wall.
The pace car is on the pit lane by himself. Here comes the pit exit. And off of pit road will be Kevin Smith. He's out first. Dennis Moore out second on pit exit. Devin West, Ryan Bloom, Dan West Jr., all these drivers right now exiting pit road. As I was telling you, the Catman James Vining is supposed to be joining us soon on our iRacing on LSRTV CRN broadcast as a pit reporter. Unfortunately not able to make the call here tonight. So with that said, Justin, in first, out first for Kevin Smith. What a strong truck in that CLICKIT RV Bomb Speed 00 out of Walla Walla, Washington.
Been very consistent long run compared to his teammates. Just let them burn up their own equipment in the clean air, waiting for his chance, and now it's going to be a huge question. Can Kevin Smith do so on the inverse now? Having the clean air to start, having to dictate the pace of the rest of the pack, having everyone else have significant draft that's going to make it hard to break away. All those are things that Kevin Smith has to be thinking about right here, especially since Devin West has been really consistent long run. Dan West Jr. really consistent long run. If anything, Kevin Smith has had the best run out of the top of this team's 4 trucks, long run pace, average-wise so far, it seems.
Lights are off on the pace car. Give him another 2-3 minutes to come back around to start finish to go back to green. We'll pause for 10 seconds of radio identification. From Pocono Raceway, this is iRacing on LSRTV and CRN, the Community Radio Network.
Community Radio Network, WCRN 87.9 FM, Clayton, Garner, Raleigh, North Carolina, USA. We are CRN.
Welcome back to Pocono Raceway. I'm Wesley Outland, Justin Prince alongside the round 15 of the Northwest Truck Series presented by CLICKIT RV from the virtual Pocono Raceway. Charles Wooten is working on production, and we welcome you again. Kevin Smith and Dennis Moore on the front row. Devin West, Ryan Bloom on row 2. Dan West Jr., Sean Brightsman, row 3. Then it's Stephen O'Hare and Robert Campbell, row 4. Christopher White and Toby Ritters. Right now, the top 10. There is right now 21 laps completed. They will complete lap 22 on lap 23 when they come back inside the Geico restart zone. And Justin Prince, we get ready to go back to green.
And so far, so strong when it comes to the battling, especially for second. But again, you're thinking big picture right now. With the time of the caution, going to be a little intriguing on how the strategy plays out for the fuel mileage. Hoping you get to about 20 laps on the run. That's going to be tight with these trucks compared to, say, the Cup cars that can go to that pretty comfortably. Let's see how they do.
Pace car onto the pit lane, filled back inside the Geico restart zone. Green flag goes back in the air, and it's Win Racing's Kevin Smith with another great jump over the cavalry. He'll pull away from teammate Dennis Moore. Then it's Team LSRTV driver West in tow. Bloom and Brightsman now 4 and 5 as they work into turn 1.
Devin West wraps the bottom of the track, clears by Dennis Moore. Moore tries to set up the crossover move. Up past the safer barrier, they zip along. Dennis Moore pokes inside, gets back in line. Ryan Bloom, though, the first to attack. Sean Brightsman making an attack up for 4th.
Working their way off of that, if you will, tunnel turn. Short shoot off the back stretch now from a part of the short straightaway, going into turn number 3 to the long straightaway here at Pocono. Brightsman to the inside. Strategy works for that driver. One time outside the top 10. He now battles for 5th alongside Ryan Bloom. Dan West Jr., his teammate, gives him a shot in the tailgate as they work their way back to 1.
Bump drafting works well here. Brightsman getting the help. The problem is the help now is under attack. O'Hare inside of Dan West Jr. Heads over the braking and lifting marks on the pavement. Brightsman gets loose. Dan West Jr. lifts. O'Hare peeks inside. Other scramble as Chris White tries to make the pass as a result of the checkup.
Trucks scattered everywhere. All around Pocono now. Look at now Ritter's making our climb back into the top 10. And we got trouble. Robert Gamble's in the fence. I knew trouble was going to happen. Jeff Stabnow just got collected. Chris Kynes is on the binders. So is some other trucks, including Tidrick. It all happened when Robert Gamble got turned into the safer barrier. A caution out for the second time here at Pocono.
LSRTV replay. And what can you say when it comes to trouble? Just 3 wide into the tunnel turn is not too smart. Already a peek to the inside from Gamble. Able to back out at least, but the problem is Jeff Stabnow just got in a position where he's just offset to the quarter panel and wrong place, wrong time for that to happen at full tempo.
Man, what a tough break there. From another angle, we're on board now, I believe, with Jeff Stabnow. Jeff Stabnow, I think, got loose. There's Gamble. Is that Frank Harris that got into Gamble, I believe? We're watching this now.
I don't think they touched. It's more Stabnow. Watch
no,
this.
Yeah.
Stabnow passed by Harris. Then it's right here.
Oh, he just
thinks
hit him.
he's going to go to the outside. And just, he's not up to the wall. As simple as that. He was too far to the left. You have to exit to the wall in that circumstance, and it's caused our biggest wreck of the night.
I don't want to say per se that Jeff Stabnow's intentions was to put Robert Gamble firewall deep into the safer barrier. He timed a move, and I think he thought he had him cleared, and he wasn't, and there's the end result of what just happened, and you just saw a couple of good trucks get torn up. Thank goodness, however, they got a fast repair. We see now more trucks on the pit lane.
And I'm not surprised to see some drivers on the pit lane right now because we talked fuel mileage. This basically gets you comfortably into a one-stop situation, in my opinion. The others, you're just hoping that you have the track position play out. Here's why that might be even a smart move. You only ran a couple laps. The pace laps are massive here. You can still save a couple laps under the caution to be able to get to a similar mark. The thing is, everyone who just pit for fuel, even if they take the tires right now, there's no guarantee they even get any of that track position, if not most of it back, Wesley, because of how tough it is to pass here and the fact you're already back 5 seconds on a restart at a track like this before you get to where you originally were.
Well said. 25 laps in, still a long way to go. Here at Pocono, we're stepping away. We're going to go side by side. We're back. LSRTV, CRN's coverage of the Northwest Truck Series, presented by CLICKIT RV, returns in a moment.
At CLICKIT RV, we know there's a lot of heritage and history at this location. RV sales and service has been part of this community for decades. We knew there was an incredible opportunity here, but to see where we've come in just a year is incredible. None of it would be possible without the patronage and support from this community. So whether it be a more convenient and accessible service drive, a fully stocked parts department, or this amazing sales facility, what drives this team daily is making sure our customers leave here with the best possible experience.
Back here at Pocono, lights off on the pace car. When they come back around to the 2.5 mile, we'll go back for the restart inside the Geico restart zone. Work lap number 27 of 28 on the board. Justin Prince, I'm Wesley Outland. And by the way, caution information presented by CLICKIT RV, Virginia811.com, and of course, Dig with Care. And by the way, my apologies, Brian Morehouse, Virginia811.com, reminding you to dig with care. The caution summary: 2 cautions, 6 caution laps, 1 lead change. And again, Justin, ever since then, it's been the Kevin Smith show, but now we're going to see a new driver going to try to battle alongside Smith for the restart. That's Devin West, as we work our way back to green as they work off the tunnel turn to turn 2.
And we talked a bit about the fuel strats now that come into play. I think, again, it's pretty sizable to say a lot of these drivers said, you know what, I'd rather get track position to try and top off, just with how difficult it can be to pass here. Here's the major thing. Devin West has been really solid tonight when it comes to long run. He's now in a great spot. As long as he tries to keep in front of these Wood Racing trucks, he might have a shot for the lead in about 5 minutes from now.
Lights off on the pace car. Field is ready to head back to turn 4 here in turn 3 at Pocono. Ready to head back to the Geico restart zone. Kevin Smith and Devin West ready to bring them back up to speed inside the box. More. It's Bloom behind them on row 2. They come back to speed through the RPMs. Green back out. Inside lane will work for Kevin Smith. He'll power away. Devin West losing ground on the 00, and West will pull up in front. Smith will and throw the block on him into 1.
This is exactly the wrong type of restart for Devin West, needing to find a way to not have to fight. Now Dennis Moore gets a bit tight, nearly slams through the door. Devin West wraps around the safer barrier, looking to clear by with the speed. All while Bloom watches in the popcorn seat. Dennis Moore keeps it side by side for the tunnel turn.
Look at now Dennis Moore battling Devin West. Well, that happened. Kevin Smith checked out. Gone in that 00 now for second and third. Win Racing trying to get there. Devin West, look at this move now. Inside, that's in the back. Christopher White coming fast in the top 5. Trying to get around Ryan Bloom. Trying to get around Stephen O'Hare. Look at this battle going on behind the leaders in the top 3 into 1.
All of that going side by side, side by side, side by side, a couple rows deep, why don't you? Dan West Jr. wants those boxed in the bottom side. All while the top 2 trying to run away and break away. Ryan Bloom, Stephen O'Hare still trying to find a way to clear each other. Nobody wants to give and take quite yet in the midst of the tunnel turn.
Everybody else single file flossing 1, 2, and 3 behind them. They're do-si-doing and 2-stepping 2 by 2 by 2 behind the top 3. That's O'Hare and White. White finally clears by O'Hare. King will follow. And while this happens, look at this. O'Hare. Well, hold on. Oh no! Devin West sideways to the bottom of the apron. What a save. Will stay green as lap 30 approaches and they're back to 1.
Still able to keep it clean for now. Now Clifford in the big red truck looking inside of Tyler King in the midst of this. Still seeing now Chris White and Stephen O'Hare play this. Lots of space given from Chris White. Almost too much off the throttle. Trying to now try and fight. Clifford looking to take it 3 wide for a second. Backs out of it.
By the way, that was Devin West and Dan West Jr. Father Dan West Jr. about spun to the bottom of the racetrack amongst all of this chaos that's gone on now. Devin West has scampered away from this battle. Now it's O'Hare up on the outside. Look at Ritters, man. A new reprieve for the driver called Clifford. Inside, outside, getting right in the battle with White and company as they work to the line. Back to turn number 1 and 50 to go. 10 to halfway. Believe it or not, Justin, we are 100 miles in 25 miles to go.
Still plenty of time for things to scrap around, especially since Chris White is still not backing down fully on O'Hare. He thinks he's quicker, goes on a peak again. No major toe though to be able to leech off of. So back around into the line he goes for the tunnel turn to wait for his chance with O'Hare really pushing hard on those tires. Now it's looking like a similar play to what we've seen with Kevin Smith for the lead earlier. Wait for your competitors to light up their tires.
Ritter's dirt track, and in a moment to go off that corner as they'll save her again back across the line. It is Kevin Smith, the man that leads. Dennis Moore in second. Devin, well, look out. Ritters, hold on to it, buddy. He did it. What a save. So did O'Hare. So did King. What a move off the corner out of turn 2.
Kane having to work all the way around the apron to make sure there wasn't any massive chaos there. It was just about a medium senses of chaos in that moment. Tower Kane forced to regroup in the teens. No significant damage, though, to deal with as a result of that slide around and that bobble around. Speaking of bobbling around, Robert Gambill looking to the inside of Brett Johnson now. Oh, wow, in the midst of these fights, looking to heat up. King's recovery already with a chance to spar on a leech on a fight.
Well, what just happened a moment ago with Ritter's truck, he now moves into the 7th spot. Falling back, it looks like, is Tyler King. He falls all the way back into the 13th position, battling with Brett Johnson and Robert Gamble. Meanwhile, they're back single file, and there he is. It's Ritter's now 7th. Dan West Jr. behind him, followed by Brightsman as they work their way off that short chute, off of turn 1, heading to the tunnel turn into 2.
All with this, Dan West Jr. looking to roll around the bottom. Making the slide. Toby Ritter's not electing to pill and drop back. All with Sean Brightsman electing to follow and help his teammate. Now they're saying, okay, let's go and pass. Aerokinetics looking to join in on the fun as well because Paulison and Gamble are now lined up to do something.
Down to the line. There you see Sean Brightsman, Dan West Jr., Ritter's right there on the outside. You've got Campbell in tow with him. So is Johnson. So is King. Storm is brewing again as we approach halfway. Off of the turn, into 1, down the short chute straightaway, heading to the tunnel turn here at Pocono, and no change in those spots, but it's getting antsy here.
Extremely antsy, and do you blame them? Track position is a major dividend that people want to have. They do not want to lose positioning early on. They want to have a chance to be able to at least be in a spot for a top 5. And the thing is, the more you fight, the more ground you lose. 5th and 6th, for example, 2 seconds back of the lead already. That's allowed everyone else to pull away. This fight already, another 2 seconds back to that respective grouping just mentioned. Just because of some of the side-by-side, that's how things break down here at Pocono.
Pocono down the straightaway, back to turn 1. They're climbing 14 degrees of banking. It might not look like 14 degrees, but it is off of that Long Pond straightaway now. That's where they're heading down the back stretch, if you will, to the short chute tunnel turn into the turn 2 area. The banking of the tunnel turn is 2 in turn 2 is 8 degrees. And then they work their way into the corner off of turn 2, down that final short chute straightaway into turn number 3, where it greets them for another 6 degrees of banking, back down the long straightaway here at Pocono. And Justin, in addition to that, the corners and the straightaways all mimic popular racing tracks.
Yes, indeed, especially when it comes to just how popular they're in terms of how you drive around them, but also just some of the racing assets. Phoenix has been really solid. Texas, Legacy Texas, very intriguing to be able to race around. Everyone loves the Brickyard and wants those scheduled races coming up. So a lot to consider in terms of that on the schedule, if that's what you mean by that mark. But Pocono, it's also kind of one of those summer classics where you're so used to it being a part of your summer stretch because of how many times drivers have had solid races here. Dan West Jr., though, my goodness, had a problem from 7th. He's over the track.
Somehow kept it going straight. Got Stefano O'Hare behind him. And by the way, we were mentioning the track configuration. I think I was talking about the straightaways. It's actually the turns. And actually, the turns are very unique. As they're working into turn 1, JP, 14 degrees of banking, like I mentioned, it is modeled after Trenton Speedway in Trenton, New Jersey. And then turn 2, 8 degrees of banking, also known as the tunnel turn or the short chute, mimics the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, obviously in Speedway, Indiana. And then turn 3, 6 degrees of banking, though they don't run there anymore. Milwaukee Mile mimics that third turn at 6 degrees of banking. So again, very unique characteristics these racetracks are. Very fun, and history lessons along the way as the laps approach halfway, Justin.
Yes, and especially when it comes to just how much times have changed in terms of the track construction, but also thinking about, keep in mind, this was a track that on top of stock car racing was more focused in terms of the racing on the open wheel side. It's been very eventful, let's put it politely. But Trenton comes to mind, for example. That was a long-time favorite from New Jersey, remember, with how unique that track was. For example, turn 1 is what's referenced in that with what models. That had basically a 5-turn oval because of a kink for turn 3 that you don't really see these days. The tunnel turn, of course, Indianapolis Motor Speedway. But turn 3 is the one modeled after the Milwaukee Mile, with how flat that run is, but also how you're able to attack it from multiple grooves. That's really played around because of how the speeds have picked up, but also just how unique it is because it's not like a Daytona or Talladega where you're dealing with multiple degrees of banking. It's a very flat track.
A lot of history. No doubt here at the track known as the Tricky Triangle in the Irish Hills of course, the mountains of Pennsylvania, Long Pond, Pennsylvania. Right now, Kevin Smith is the man that is leading the way. Could tonight be the night finally for the driver out of Walla Walla, Washington? Can he finally pick up his first win after 5 poles? 1 top 5, 3 top 10s for the 00. There is again Stefano O'Hare. Strong run for him. Some good saves along the way for Ritters. All there in the 6th, 7th, and 8th spot in 9th. As they cross the line, we get the cross flags, and 100 miles in, 100 miles to go. Justin, next time by here at Pocono.
This race breezing on by for the most part, and that's almost kind of the trends we've seen in the past here at Pocono. It tends to be a very green flag-centric circuit, except for the final parts of the race where it gets chaotic. Pit stop time. Cushman elected to come in. Carl Burke also down the pit lane currently. Cushman once those out of Don Jensen's earlier. Doesn't look like this is scheduled because he is not on the jacks and is not moving.
He had a problem earlier in the race, if you remembered, when he got caught up in that accident. And all the while, approaching the second half of this race. 100 miles down, 100 miles to go. And there you see your top 3. Win Racing 1 and 2, Team LSRTV. Devin West in his own battle in 3rd. Win Racing behind him of Ryan Bloom 4th. Then it's father, Dan West Jr. in 6th. Sean Wrightsman 7th. Stefano O'Hare 8th. Toby Ritter's 9th. Robert Gamble the top 10. Stephen Paulison and Tyler King halfway through the rundown as again we're past lap 40.
Brett Johnson in the midst of that fight going around that midway point in 13th position right now. John Onnenbacher is a couple tenths back of that in 14th. One of his best positions of this race. Chris Kynes has had to dodge a lot of trouble today. He's in 15th still. Troy Daggett in 16th, 10 seconds back of the leader. Dan Lather, after crashing into his pit stall during the last pit stop sequence, 17th. Frank Harris in 18th. Fletcher Stabnow, your top 20. Jeff Stabnow has not been able to recover since causing the last caution. DJ Tidrick is the last driver of the lead lap right now in 21st. Cushman is still in the pit box and looks to be done for the race in 22nd. Carl Burke and Ron Hunter are both done for the night. Your 2 DNFs, so far official DNFs rather, of the night.
Kevin Smith is still the leader. You see him working off of that corner that mimics Indianapolis, now heading towards the Milwaukee. Turn 3 corner. What turn 4? You know, I called a race a couple of weeks ago, 4th of July weekend. Jeremy Mayfield was the winner of the Grand National Super Series event that I was announcing at Motor Mile, now known as Pulaski County Motor Speedway in Virginia. And Justin, even to this day, I was down in the pit lane talking and some of the stories that Jeremy Mayfield and family were discussing was the bump and run in 2000 when they did it to Dale Earnhardt Sr. The first career win for Jeremy Mayfield at Pocono.
Yeah, and that is a memorable moment because really you have to think about some of the context of that. Of course, Dale Sr. with some of the contact and bump and runs in those recent months and the past couple of years. Coming to mind is Bristol, for example. But then
99 at Bristol when he moved Labonte out of the way. You're exactly right.
Exactly. And that comes to mind. That really might have been one of the things we're saying, okay, you know what? I want my first win. I'm willing to do anything to do it. And this guy's willing to move anyone for any reason for the win. So why not me? Of course, he was called a #1 fan afterwards, which is very memorable. But all you can say is, if you're having a chance at your first win, and you know somebody's not afraid to rough up their competitors, is it fair to say it's fair game, even if it's the Intimidator?
That's right. Why not? Second 100 miles of this race underway here at Pocono. It has been Kevin Smith.
Oh!
And he just got loose. He slams the wall. Kevin Smith in the wall. Dennis Moore will go to the lead. Devin West will follow. Ryan Bloom will split him 3 wide. And Kevin Smith somehow saves the truck after getting in the wall. What in the world?
Massive, massive mistake. Just went too quick in the tunnel turn. And somehow there is no major visual damage, but that is a major blow to the track position game. Dennis Moore lucky to avoid that. He now leads by 6/10. Battle is on for second. Ryan Bloom, Devin West. West inside, Bloom outside. My oh my, all that can change in the split second here at Pocono, and we just seen why.
In the blink of an eye. And just like that, from the penthouse to the outhouse, or at least back in the top 5, goes Kevin Smith.
And a big wiggle for Devin West. Devin West.
And I was going to say, Justin, no caution.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, and for Kevin Smith, no caution.
Now it's getting a little bit dicey. These drivers getting a little bit loosey at the end of this window. Devin West nearly over the back end, out of the exit for Ryan Bloom. Now down the straightaway. No peek around yet. Dennis Moore is running away. Devin West wants to get a chance to leapfrog to keep up.
Dennis Moore, the points leader. Gone. There's the interval. Almost 3/4 of a second or more over teammate for Win Racing, Ryan Bloom. Devin West in tow, right there behind him in third. You see him behind his tailgate. And running him down again is Kevin Smith. Gotta wonder, Justin, how much damage was on the 0-0. He's able to still continue going in the top 5.
That's my most stunning part in all this is, how is he keeping up somewhat? I think he's definitely impacted because he's not as quick as before, even with the draft. But for Kevin Smith, he can't necessarily just say, okay, I'm just gonna come in. He has to take his lumps, keep up as much best he can, and then take the faster pair. Devin West, meanwhile, licking the stamp. Ryan Bloom trying to make sure the stamp doesn't fully stick. Devin West, though, still keeps it inside for the side-by-side for second.
Can you say takes a licking and, if you will, keeps on ticking for the driver there? It's now West inside. Ryan Bloom. Oh, here comes help though. Win Racing trying to gang up on West. Smith, Bloom outside. They work into 3.
Now Kevin Smith finally getting a chance to pounce ahead. Devin West drifts on all 4 tires. Kevin Smith nearly drifts down to the right rear quarter panel of Devin West down the straightaway. Kevin Smith with the chance to be able to pinch along. Devin West with the chance to be able to try and send it along. Into the corner, Devin West below the first team. Able to just about clear, but Kevin Smith has the pinch line out of the corner.
You know, Justin, one of the things that's very interesting about the Long Pond straightaway where they're at right now off turn 1 to 2 to the tunnel turn, and then of course on the front straightaway is the long straightaways and the width. We've not seen those drivers take advantage of that tonight though. We've not seen 5 and 6 wide. You can do it. You can be brave enough if you want to make it happen. But why do you see these drivers not doing this? We just saw Tyler King eat the wall barrier going to 2 to 3.
Yeah, a lot of these drivers, I think, are screaming, tires, tires, give me tires. But at this point, you have to prioritize fuel tank, fuel tank. Can my fuel tank make it to the end of this race for the next stop? Brett Johnson, amongst those looking to gamble around Robert Gambill. See if he can find the pole. Not too much quite yet. Interesting enough, though, there has been a sneaking motion amongst these drivers. They are really blocking down the straightaways to break that draft.
Listen to those trucks thunder down the Long Pond straightaway and head back to that second turn, that tunnel turn, the short chute that mimics the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, the world's greatest race course. And Dennis Moore, the leader. Look at this now, Johnson and Gamble. This is going on for 10th and 11th. Now we pick up 3rd again. Smith and West going at it. This is for 3rd and 4th.
Kevin Smith again keeping it up on the second seam, however. Drops up to the 3rd seam. Devin West not able to fully rotate to clear, and yet again, the difficulty to pass around Pocono emphasized. If you don't clear out of turn 1, you're likely not going to be able to hold on to the spot you're trying to pick up. However, Devin West slams the door in front of Kevin Smith, nearly gets turned around to the tunnel turn. They all save it. Devin West to 3rd, although ugly.
.30 laps to go when they work their way back to start finish. Dennis Moore, the leader. Ryan Bloom in 2nd. You just saw a glimpse of the 3rd place truck right there in view of Devin West. Kevin Smith, who honestly, Justin, was the dominator of the first 100 miles of this race. And then right after halfway, the tires or something goes away. Handling hits the 00 Chevrolet. He's in the fence. By the way, speak of the bow tie, 9 Chevrolets of trucks in the top 10 compared to 1 Ford with Tyler King in 10th, I meant to say.
Yeah, just basically a lot of the top teams running with the Chevys. Aside of Sean Bryceman, who likes to be different. But interestingly enough, we mentioned fuel strats and strategies in general. O'Hare, Bryceman amongst those already taking service. Kevin Smith saying, okay, I can make it. It's time for pit stops.
Could this be the money stop as well? Smith, West on pit road. Ritters is on pit road. All these drivers mimic one another. This is the money stop, JP, no doubt. Ottenbacher's in. Stabnow's in.
Stabnow also amongst those rolling on in. Moore, Bloom, West, White amongst those continuing for at least one more lap. This likely to get drivers to the end of the race on fuel. Under 30 to go. No need for mistakes.
And
no
tires
pressure, and Stabnow makes a mistake.
Oh, no. That mistake right there, half a second, makes them probably lose about maybe a corner of the racetrack distance. As all these trucks on pit road, money stop time, 4 tires, fill up the tank with Sunoco fuel, new 4 sides of rubber, and ready to bring this one to the house here at Pocono. Here comes Moore, the points leader. He gives up 3rd. He's on pit road. Christopher White on pit road.
Slow roll for Moore as Bloom is able to stretch it with Devin West. Dennis Moore tries to keep it careful in the box, slides the front tires, but does hit the marks. Onto the jacks, off and away. Dan West Jr. already off and away as well for the pit stop service. 55 rejoin the track. Keep in mind that you can potentially hold on to the lead lap here at this racetrack. Dan West Jr., interesting enough, did not, based on his position on the circuit. Frank Harris also in. I believe doesn't realize he wasn't starting to service yet.
Gotta wonder how much now. Well, here comes Ryan Bloom. Here comes Devin West. Couple of laps behind, but they do come to the pits now for the money stop.
And with how deep in the field Dan West Jr. is, wonder if there was speeding to be still a lap down behind BJ Tedrick. We'll have to keep an eye on the pylon and how this plays out with the leaders all in except for Johnson. On the marks, Ryan Bloom taking a little bit longer time though to get up on the jacks, even with the pit box positioning. Will this impact the gap between Devin West and Ryan Bloom? Off and away Devin West. Off and away with a similar smoke goes Ryan Bloom. Answer is they're still on top of each other for the exit. And a caution!
Caution! Wow! Caution out just as they were exiting pit road. Chris Kynes, Chevrolet in the fence. Oh no, this changes
Kynes,
everything, Justin.
After his service, what did Chris Kynes do? Down the straightaway, it looks fine, and is this stop now? Tunnel turn, a major lift, a major apron clip, and a slide, just avoiding stop now, but that's enough for him to stay inside wall time. And then he backs up on the racetrack.
Team Real Treat 20 again, putting us under the yellow flag. And oh boy, oh boy. Well, so listen, so much for strategy-wise. It's out the window.
I think Brett Johnson's not going to be happy. He's likely going to end up losing all his track position now. Because guess what? Everyone else is probably staying out.
Yeah, Brett Johnson and Dan Lowther have not pitted yet. They're right now 1st and 2nd. And I'm seeing Brett Johnson, Lowther not now. Well, we'll sort this out. Let's go to break. We'll be back in just a moment from Pocono.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
At CLICKIT RV, we know there's a lot of heritage and history at this location. RV sales and service has been part of this community for decades. We knew there was an incredible opportunity here, but to see where we've come in just a year is incredible. None of it would be possible without the patronage and support from this community. So whether it be a more convenient and accessible service drive, a fully stocked parts department, or this amazing sales facility, what drives this team daily is making sure our customers leave here with the best possible experience.
Welcome back to Pocono. Well, Johnson and Lowther mired back, and they're going to get punished for it, if you will. Me and Justin were kind of talking about that, and they're going to now be put back to, it looks like, oh man, Lowther and Johnson 18th and 19th. By the way, you see the CRN logo, but of course, Community Radio Network is live tomorrow on CRN, the 4th annual WJG Sports Classic. Broadcast coverage presented by Wiles Agency Group Incorporated and the Stock Car Racing Team Game McAllister Precision Marketing. Airtime tomorrow afternoon from Goldsboro, 1:30. Braxton Kutchin, Kai Jones, Derek Lodge, and myself, Wesley Outlet on the call. 7 hours of basketball coverage beginning at 2 p.m. Eastern tomorrow. We'll have it for you on CR. 9 hours, actually. Yeah, my apologies. The last game is a little bit longer than the other ones. And Justin, we're ready to go to the finish of this thing. This is really made things interesting here down the stretch, no doubt.
Yeah, some differences in terms of the tire strategies. Indeed, this is going to be important thing to consider in terms of long-term play for this race towards the tail end of the run. But here's the thing. Kevin Smith,
we know everybody can go the distance, right? We know everybody can go the distance now.
That we know.
If overtime plays, does that change it?
I think it does. But the thing is, if we get another caution, I think most of the field's going to end up coming in for tires, depending on when it comes in. If it's within 3 laps, we stay out. If it's after 3, we pit for tires.
We'll see how it all goes down. Ready for the field to come back to the Geico restart zone. They're working their way after the turn that mimics Milwaukee. Field ready to bring them back to the restart. It is 23 laps to go. Green flag back out here at Pocono. Dennis Moore, the points leader. Win Racing 1, 2, and 3. West hung out on the bottom as they'll climb the banking and work their way back into the racetrack that mimics turn 1 in Trenton, New Jersey into 1.
All the Win Racing trucks looking to see if they can win together. Side by side from third, Devin West looking to break up the train. A little bit of scrambling coming off the corner. Everybody wanted to peek around 3 wide down towards the tunnel turn. Onenbacher, Brightspin, Toby Ritter's amongst those, fanning out. Devin West stuck inside now with O'Hare to the outside.
You know, JP, I was wondering, when are we going to start seeing 3 and 4 wide, especially on the front straightaway and the long pond straightaway for the backstretch? I think we just got that answer as they're working their way back to the corner. And a caution. Oh, my, Dan Lowther. Daggett. Tidrick is involved, I believe. Oh, no.
Well, that
caution out.
Well, that back half of the field stacked up really quickly, didn't it? Let's take a look at the LSRTV replay. Really, Tidrick amongst those, trying to hold on to the outside groove in the midst of the pressure, and then corner exit ensues. All this looks fine and dandy, and then about turn 3.
Oh,
it's Robert Campbell.
Turn. Oh, man. Justin, that's heartbreak, man, because it looked like right now Robert Campbell, he just hooked the left rear of the 72, if you will, and that's what caused everyone else to get collected, man. That's a tough break. That's what, the second time I think Gembel's got involved in something like that. He had something similar happen with Stab now, if you remember.
Yes. This is not. It's not been a pretty night for Gambill, even when he's at the track position, it seems now. He's had solid pace. He's not solid luck. But again, I don't think we're in a spot where anyone takes tires right now. It's just now pacing time.
And nobody's coming to pit road. Like you said, I don't think anybody's pitting right now.
I'd be stunned if anyone pit. We didn't go long enough for the tires to matter, in my opinion, with the track position. So now, here's the tough part. This is a very long caution track. They did reduce the pace lap by 1 here a few years ago, but it's still a 5-minute per caution sequence, basically. And that incident, mind you, took out a lot of trucks. About at least a third of your field is now gone from that.
Well, Dennis Moore is going to bring the field to the line with now 3/4 of this race completed. 20 laps to go. Katie, bar the door for this race. Right now, let's check back in on the Virginia 811. Dig with care. Call before you dig. Caution summary. Bottom left, there it is, 4 cautions. 10 laps under yellow of the 60 completed, so 50 green flag laps now. Or 49 to be exact. The lead changes have been 5. And Justin, for the most part, this has been a fairly entertaining race for round 15 for the Northwest Truck Series at Pocono.
Yeah, and again, Pocono is not really known for massive chaos until this point of the race, usually. But so far, clean, respectful, not too much 3-wide chaos.
Right.
There's a possibility of that changing, of course, now as the points now really come on the line pretty soon here. But in the past, usually have this type of a race until about 20 to go, and then it usually ends up being chaotic. How will that play out tonight? Well, usually the trend's been somewhat clean until the final few laps. I'm hoping at least, trend stays to clean tonight with how the field's been racing.
Per se, a changing of the gauntlet wheel as we'll get ready to bring the field back to the Geico restart zone next time around, and we will get ready for a 20-lap shootout to determine the winner here tonight at Pocono. Charles Wooten has done a great job on production as always in the Rocket Racing Media LSRTV CLICKIT RV production booth there in Texas. Justin Prince, my friend of the north in Canada. I'm Wesley Outlet in North Carolina. And we are ready to go now for the final 20 laps here at the virtual Pocono Raceway. The best drivers of iRacing of the Northwest duke it out here. By the way, Justin, I would be hard-pressed to say, my friend, we got to mention the next race next week, bud. We are literally going from Pocono Raceway next week to Texas and Phoenix in the next 3 weeks. 3 very unique racetracks, might I add.
Legacy Texas, mind you, is the very critical part because that's with the original banking configuration, or rather, I should say, the 2000s to early mid-2010s banking configuration, 24 degrees around in both ends of the racetrack, compared to what they have currently in the Lone Star State. That being said, very fast racetrack, very difficult track still. I think it's going to be an intense race based on what we've seen with that configuration in the past.
And Old Phoenix Raceway, July 24th, the track with no dog leg at the start-finish line. Back to the Geico restart zone. Green flag back out. 19 to go. Moore powers away from teammate Ryan Bloom. Slicing, dicing through the pack, if you will. At least 2 and 3 wide as they work into turn 1.
Top two clearing on by easily. Bloom holding off
Oh.
Devin West now, and contact
Oh, no.
and a crash. We've chosen the
Oh, I
chaos
knew it was
card.
happening.
Half the field involved were under caution.
Justin, I cringed on the restart. You heard me say, oh, because I saw Sean Brightsman about get hooked going into one, and then all of a sudden as they work out a Trenton Speedway turn one, going to the long pond straightaway, nowhere to go for Toby Ritters, hooked by Brightsman, and everyone else from there piles in.
Like I just said, they chose chaos. 3 wide for the first time in turn one. Shockingly did not work out well. Ritters did have a little push up, but then
Wow.
Jeff Stabnow just crushed against the wall. Stabnow not having the greatest of luck tonight.
And Jeff Stabnow, nowhere to go. Nowhere to go for 24 from Billings, Montana. Wow. Heartbreak.
Remember that point I just made about 20 laps to go? Usually that's where chaos starts to reign supreme. Well, with that restart was about 20 laps to go.
Man, oh man. And now with that being said, I'll be honest with you, Justin. It's track position now. Nobody's coming to the pit lane, regardless of whether they want to take on tires or not. They're literally kind of stranglehold to have to hold on for their track spot right now.
Yeah, at this mark, you hope you're not one of those drivers who makes a similar mistake at this point. Because again, Desmore's in a great position. But the thing is, we've seen how Ryan Bloom has been in clean air in the past. We've seen how Kevin Smith has been in the clean air. It's almost a little bit of a curse right now to be the leader with how drivers have played things out after 15 laps on the tires. So what do they do is the question.
They are pitting.
Oh, Sean Brightsman is, and no one else has followed suit. I don't think that was a great call there from Brightsman.
Wow. Monkey see, monkey do. Monkey holds on to bananas except for one coming to the pits.
Why do I see this being a Brightsman call where he's hoping there's a decent run and then he stays out and defends the rest of the racetrack for the win? Because that's the play I think he just tried to make here. I don't know if that's going to be a workable play at Pocono, though.
$17 to go. Dennis Moore, as well as, of course, Ryan Bloom. None of these guys pit. And obviously, they don't need to for track position. They played like they were coming to the pits, and that Sean Brightsman is the only guy that pits. He's now on pit exit. Justin, he is going to fall all the way to 17. But here's the thing. Bringing a knife to a gunfight, if you will, you're about to see that equivalent because all the tires are used up on the other trucks. Sean Brightsman, he might have new Ford sides. Let's get an update on pit road. We don't have James Vining, but we do have producer and pit extraordinaire Charles Whitten. What you got for us?
Well, first off, thank you. I'm glad you represent. You know I am extraordinaire. Second of all, I did get to talk up to our team up there and talk to Sean. He came down. He had a little bit of nose damage. He said the nose looked like it was pushed up a little bit. To the response of Jeff, if you want to see a pushed up nose, just come look at mine. And I think the engine's in the cab with me. So apparently Jeff is destroyed. They still think they got a shot. We got Devin and up there, so they're hopeful they can pull off a win. But they got a lot of win up there with them.
A lot of Win Racing drivers up there as well. And lights will go off on the base car. We'll try this again with 16 laps to go. Justin, Sean Brightsman looks like he's back on pit road again. He might have got busted with a penalty.
I don't know how you get busted with a penalty under caution. I'm really confused on this unless he is thinking about something else adjustment-wise or fuel-wise. I'm not quite sure again. You mentioned the possibility of the tire set differential. I still think you're not going from 20th to 1st in 15 laps at Pocono. I'm sorry.
Well, we'll just see how it all shakes out. Broadcast coverage on CRN, by the way, presented by the Stock Car Racing Team Game and the Russ Wiles Agency Group Incorporated. Thanks to CLICKIT RV, Race on Texas, iRacing, and our coverage on the LSRTV, your home for sim racing. Don't forget the championship for the GT3 Series, the RGL, Northwest Motorsports GT3 Series, is this Wednesday night from virtual Watkins Glen. Join Jason Rockefeller and myself, Cody Deemers, on production. Wednesday night coverage, LSRTV, CRN from Watkins Glen. Then we take off and then we prepare for another 5 weeks. 5 weeks, mind you, with the new 5-week fun series, the next Gen 4 car, or the Gen 4 car, close to 1,000 miles per hour. We're back underway. We're back to green. It's 15 to go at Pocono. And Justin, same old song and dance. Win Racing 1, 2, and 3 quickly to the outside, throwing the block on Devin Weston Moore as they work to 1. Did we lose Justin? Justin Prince, are you with us, brother?
Down to the corner, starting on that one. Still inside to the tunnel turn they work.
Thanks, buddy. We lost for just a second. We got him back. Down that straightaway into that third turn now. Yep. Look at West. Devin West inside, going after Bloom. All this happening. Oh, we got a truck in the fence. O'Hare's in the wall. Somehow he saves it. 14 to go. We stay green. Justin back to 1.
O'Hare, significant slowdown. Significantly might be in trouble now, losing all of that track position in the turnaround. More trouble into the wall. One of the black and
William
yellow
Fletcher.
trucks. No
William
caution
Fletcher,
somehow.
Dan Lowther. Wow, no caution. William Fletcher, Dan Lowther wreck, and we still stay green. Unbelievable.
I still don't understand how that just worked. That, or rather, did not bring out a caution. That makes zero sense with them being next to each other. But I guess because there wasn't a third, no yellow. All while Bloom sees Kevin Smith nearly turned by Devin West this time. Devin West blocks off 3 lanes. Up into the wall goes Kane as everyone starts to flare their tempers.
Just starting to get a little antsy here now at Pocono. Look at John Ottenbacher bobbing inside, outside, behind the Gamble. This is Gamble, no correction, Paulison. That's Paulison in the 58 up on the outside of Kevin Smith, and they wrecked. They turned each other. He ran out of room. Turned sideways. Kevin Smith backs the rear end of the truck in the safer barrier. Caution out with 12 to go when they came to the line at Pocono. Wow.
That was all sorts of what in the world. First with that trouble into the previous corner that sparked it with Devin West nearly turning around Kevin Smith. Not sure if it was a turn down or not. But then it gets worse. Paulison this time all the way to the 4th line. The 4th line of the track. Kevin Smith has to know there's a truck there. He does not have a back off from Paulison, who's pushing as hard as he can. And well, the results
There's the end result.
are evident.
Man. You've got Toby Ritters on the pit lane several laps down. Kevin Smith is on pit road. Dennis Moore along this chaos and mayhem down the stretch in what seems like this final 20 laps will not end is still the leader. Hey, by the way, Sean Brightsman up 6 spots. He's now in, believe it or not, 12th or 11th. We'll pause for 10 seconds of network identification. This is coverage of the Northwest Truck Series presented by CLICKIT RV from Pocono on CRN, the Community Radio Network.
Community Radio Network, WCRN 87.9 FM, Clayton, Garner, Raleigh, North Carolina, USA. We are CRN.
Well, 1 o'clock a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, Tuesday, July 11th on the East Coast. It is just now 11 o'clock Central, 10 o'clock Mountain Time, and for a lot of those drivers, it is 9 o'clock on the Pacific Northwest. Wesley Outland, Justin Prince, Charles Wooten, and we're not done yet with this one. Pocono has certainly entertained for this 200-miler. And Justin, we're closing in on 10 to go, and everybody has come down the pit road now.
This was what I expected with how the runs were playing out. Get the freshest tires for the final 10 laps or so of this race. Make sure you're fully together on the fuel by far. Close things out. Hope you're not in the midst of a hurricane of chaos. Now it's the question, who are amongst those who go for the contra strat? No surprise, no Sean Brightsman in that pit lane right now.
And would you not? And why would you not think that, John? Look at that. The advantage for Sean Brightsman, just if you want to say, went for a virtual undercut. Could this work strategy-wise for the 46, Justin?
It might. Well, there's a couple others who are on the same call, so scratch that. It not for Brightsman, but
right.
Might for Bloom. It might for Bloom. Ottenbacher, I'm very curious because guess what? All that chaos has opened up a chance for Ottenbacher to somehow possibly win this race. And he's been running around the edge of the top 10 much of the night. What can you say? You keep it out of trouble. You join the conversation.
Justin, we just had everybody come to the pits on lap 69. Sean Brightsman, if you remember, pitted solo on lap 64. 4 tires and fuel. Is that 5 laps, 10 miles advantage Brightsman have over the rest of the trucks, or those trucks have now with new rubber, going to hurt the 46 or be it an advantage for him?
I want it to be thought about more so this way, in terms of how many green flag laps have been turned. In the case of Brightsman, it was only about a lap or 2. In the case of everyone else who just came down, though, that was around more so 3 heat cycles, about 3-4 laps that are green at least on those sets, maybe 5 or 6. It's enough of a difference to make things interesting, but again, you're hoping it stays green, and here's the problem. We're almost now stuck in that chaos period to where you're almost now the cause of the chaos on the different layers. This is going to be very chaotic into one.
My question is, as we get ready for a restart, I don't think we're done crashing yet, Justin.
That's why I said the chaos point, because if you're row 4, you better be buckled up and wrapping and have had your truck wrapped in bubble wrap at this point, because I can see it now. Dennis Moore takes it up on the outside, inside 3 wide, or you have Dan West Jr. try and poke outside, offset even 4 wide. And that's where a lot of the trouble happens so many times, because a lot of people elect to take the tires for the late race stage and then have to pass everyone on the older rubber, and that's where calamity strikes on the corner exits.
Well, I hope you're ready, because we have not reached the finish line yet. This has been highly entertaining. Strap in. Single digits when they come back to the start finish line. here with 9 to go in this 200-miler. Working off the corner, back to the line. Green flag in the air, 20 miles remain from the checkered flag and the finish. And look again with Ryan Bloom back out in front as they'll work their way to turn 1, and they're already starting to throwing blocks on one another in mid-pack.
Oh, that chaos about to reign supreme. Brett Johnson under attack. Chris Kynes getting loose. Nowhere to go for more. All while in the lead group. Ottenbacher passed by Tyler King. Devin West getting a bump from Sean Brightsman. Into the tunnel turn. No send. The LSRTV truck skips some brakes. Will there be chaos in the tunnel turn? There is. Brett Johnson turning. There they go.
Dennis Moore in the wall. Dan West Jr. turned around, destroyed Daggett. They're not done wrecking yet. Daggett slams into the back end of Moore's truck. Dennis Moore somehow gets stuck. The points leader involved. Dan West Jr. caught up in the accident. And we're not done wrecking yet. Wow.
I told you, watch for row 4. And that's where it got really, really wild. Brett Johnson already started the spark with the block, but then the tire difference. That's a few mile-an-hour difference on the roll. It was already side by side. Just that love tap on a different mark for Dennis Moore. Absolute calamity, and this is why staying out late usually ends up being the preferred route.
Man, oh man. By the way, Justin Prince, in case you didn't know, ICYDK, in case you didn't know, abbreviated. Dennis Moore had a 23-point lead over Ryan Bloom. Well, like we know, who's the leader? Ryan Bloom. Wow.
Yeah, I think he's picked the right strategy again. Because all his other competitors who might have had a shot, they're all demolished. Here's my major question mark. Devin West. Because he's been a constant threat in the top 3, 4. He's on this strat. Can Devin West find a way without lighting the tires ablaze to get to Bloom and pass him? Because that's not going to be easy from 4. That's why I think Brightsman's trying so hard to help his teammate here to get him a shot at a win.
No doubt about it, Justin. I would say probably, as long as me and you've been calling iRacing together since 2020, this has probably been the most entertaining Pocono race of the Northwest I think we've ever called.
Yeah, Pocono can bring these entertaining races. They can bring these strategy types of races. They can bring chaos reigning supreme. But when you have all of them blend together like they have tonight, it ends up being a wonderful art piece of what am I looking at? And sometimes
right.
It's entertaining. And I think someone just blew their engine. And was it Toby Ritters, the lucky dog? It was. There he goes. No! Ritters, I think, just jumped out of his rig.
Ritters is done.
Yeah,
tough break for Clifford. Toby Ritters, man. Wow.
It looks like he just said, I'm done. I'm just flooring it. Gets up. Bye-bye. I'm towing.
And by the way, Justin, we said this when we came on the air for the introduction. Pocono was one of those tracks that it could race like a super speedway. It could race like a short track. We've seen that tonight on both ends of the spectrum, no doubt.
Well, remember, technically Pocono, when it first was originally founded, was a short track. The front straightaway utilized for a short track configuration, so I don't think that was intentional in terms of having some of those characteristics for the 2.5 mile circuit, but that's kind of gone the way. Again, you have to give Roger Ward credit, a long-time racer back from the heyday of motorsports, 1955 to 1950-66 rather. He could drive a car really strongly. After all, he was one of the open-wheel legends of his time. He also just so happened to be really solid at designing a racetrack.
By the way, I'm understanding that Toby Ritters was going to be given the lucky dog and blew up the engine. Heartbreak for the 23. Wow. Russ Ludwig, no doubt about it, buddy. Chaos and mayhem. This has been, and by the way, process of elimination also, Justin. We started with 24 trucks out of 26 entrants. I think we're down to what, 10? 10 finalists?
There's 16 technically on track, but how many are in true contention?
Right, yeah. I apologize. I thought maybe we had only 10 entrants left, but we actually have more than that. So, but again, mind you, as we get ready for the restart, there have been some really top contenders, Justin Prince, that have been taken out. I have no doubt, my friend, that the scoring pylon and the points standings are going to be shaken up after tonight's event with the Checkered Falls.
I think in some circumstances, yes. Put it simply, I think that's just going to be the simple circumstance. Dennis Moore going to lose some of that point ground. I don't think it's enough to lose the full lead. But Devin West has a chance to leapfrog more drivers, even with the less amount of races. Jeff Stab now very likely going to decline and close the gap to some. But if you're on the cut line, drivers like Tyler Caden, they cannot afford a mistake. This is a huge race for Kane, who is on that overall top 16 bubble.
And by the way, 5 laps to go, scheduled distance, and there is still a chance at overtime. He spun the tires and he checked the field behind them. Everybody got on the binders quickly. We're back underway here in Pocono.
That's not spinning tires. That is jumping the start by a mile. Tyler Kane already knows it, pulling off the track. Tyler Kane has thrown it away when he needed points. He lit the points on fire instead.
Let's watch, can we watch a replay of what had just happened to the 21? And I gotta say this, mad props to him. If something happens, we'll break in. But look at this though. Well, I was talking about behind Ryan Bloom. It stacked up everybody behind them. But yeah, I think Tyler King, big props for being honest on that, Justin.
It looked like at least Bloom had a problem. But here's the thing. Here's the massive thing. You cannot pass the leader before the start and finish line. Outside of maybe a small fender. You get caught in that sequence doing that, it's a blind system. You're in trouble. Right. Speaking of battling, if we can go to live action, look at the pylon. What is going on for Frank Harris? 3 wide with Devin West.
Frank Harris trying to battle for the win. Look at this. Devin West, Ryan Bloom. Might, by the way, Winare Okayama dominated Okayama, if you remember, Justin. Harris driving the race of his life. He's in second. The underdog is second. And what a run for Frank Harris. And 3 to go when they come back to the line.
Where in the world did all this speed for Frank Harris come from now? He's trying to pedal it nearly into the wall. The best run for Harris all season, a top 8 finish a few months ago, all the way back at Gateway. Now, can he pull off the upset? 3 to go. He's looking to try and find a way to Bloom. Misses the bottom, however.
Unbelievable. Looking at the stats, obviously, on the legend Frank Harris. He's 17th on the all-time list with 313 starts. But Justin Prince, he has never won in the Northwest Racing Series. Not in Truck, not in Xfinity, not in Cup, not in, of course, and Bloom into the corner with 2 to go when they work to the line.
He needs a lot of help though. Devin West staying behind him. Will there be a little bit of a push? No, there is still a bit of a buffer of 1 truck length between second and third. Harris with a huge roam down the front stretch. Ryan Bloom going for evasive action inside. Frank Harris going for the send outside. Up to the second seam, can't get to the quarter panel yet. Ryan Bloom slides it up the track for the straightaway.
You gotta love an underdog story, just like it was for Shane Van Gisbergen at the streets of Chicago for NASCAR. Frank Harris is trying to do the same thing in the Northwest. Yes, he's been a long-time racer veteran, but he's never won. He's putting himself in that opportunity, but he's got some heavy hitters alongside in Ryan Bloom and Devin West, and now Harris will fall back to third. They're looking for the white flag as they work to 3.
Through turn 3, Bloom now has to be able to have a clean final lap. Coming up to the white flag, this time by the gap of about 4/10. White flag up at the flag stand. Final time around from Pocono. Bloom having a great run down the straightaway. Frank Harris wants second and wants it bad. Devin West on the outside. Harris inside. They both want the second seam.
Side by side as they work their way up the safer barrier off of turn number 1 to the track that mimics New Jersey's Trenton Speedway. Down the back stretch on the Long Pond straightaway. Behind them, a still gaggle of traffic fight it out. Ryan Bloom looking to go back-to-back and try to also be the man in the points lead. After the bad luck for Dennis Moore, he's in turn 2.
Ryan Bloom, an unbelievable run throughout the night. Still looking to close things out through turn 3. Has a big gap, able to pull away as everyone having a wrestling match for second.
For the driver, Ryan Bloom, down to the line. Ryan Bloom will pick up the win. It will be win number 4 at the finish line. Harris and Brightsman going at it. Frank Harris will beat Sean Brightsman, and Dan Lowther crashes in the back. Dan Lowther has slammed the inside wall on the cool-down lap. Ryan Bloom will pick up the win. Devin West will go second. Sean Brightsman, Justin, battles Frank Harris, and Frank Harris will get third. And by the way, this is probably one of his best career finishes in the Truck Series.
Yeah, Frank Harris knew he had to go for it, try to go for it. Made one mistake in the tunnel turn, and that I think really cost him a chance to be able to get up to Bloom. But for Ryan Bloom, remember, he started off the night with the track position. He kept the track position all throughout the night. Should be a surprise.
Justin, this will be Frank Harris's tied best finish of his career with second. Here's going back a long time ago. April 23rd, 2018 at Talladega. He finished third in the Northwest B Series car, which is kind of like the Xfinity car. He finished third. He's also had 4 fourth-place finishes at Nashville, Richmond, Bristol, Talladega. By the way, Justin, he will surpass his best finish of the year back in April, which was 4th at Nashville for Frank Harris. For Ryan Bloom, it is win number 4 of the season, possibly the new points leader. He now picks up his 4th win. He has the most of anybody on the Northwest Truck Series presented by CLICKIT RV.
And you can tell with the celebration, a lot of drivers taking out some frustration on each other. It was a night where a lot of sheet metal got torn apart.
Here is your unofficial results presented by LSRTV tonight from round 15 of the Northwest Truck Series presented by CLICKIT RV at Pocono. Ryan Bloom is the winner, win 4 of the year. Devin West is in second. Frank Harris, again, finishes in third. Sean Brightsman will follow for 4th. Stephen O'Hare 5th. Christopher White will go 6th. John Onnebacher 7th. Chris Kynes is 8th. Dennis Moore 9th. Stephen Paulison, your top 10 halfway through the red down. 11th and 12th, you will find Dan Lowther and Jeff Stabnow. And Justin, as we give you the rest of the line down, that's still not a bad night for Dan Lowther or Jeff Stabnow, especially with the bad luck they had.
Could have been much better with Stabnow. He had track position early. Robert Gambill, despite everything, still finishing around where he was running throughout the night, 13th. Daggett in 14th. Tyler King, great track position towards the end. Black flag cost the 21 truck from 15th. He finished 1 lap down. Brett Johnson 1 lap down in 16th. DNFs, Dan West Jr., Toby Ritters, Kevin Smith, and William Fletcher also out of the race early. Tidrick, Cushman, Burke, and Hunter, Kamari, and Hutchinson both did not take the green tonight.
Final time, let's look at the Virginia811.com call before you dig. Analysis and the caution information. 7 yellows, 21 caution laps of the distance of 80, and lead changes were 6. Ryan Bloom, win number 4 of the season. We are back with the podium 3. Going to be nice to grab a word with Frank Harris. It's got to be like a win for him. But when it's said and done, Ryan Bloom, most wins of the season, possibly the new points leader at that, as we move in tonight from Pocono and prepare for Texas next week. We'll grab our thoughts with the podium when we return. Welcome back to the virtual Pocono Raceway. Coverage around 15 of the Northwest Truck Series, presented by CLICKIT RV, presented by CLICKIT RV tonight. And we grab our podium drivers. We'll speak with Ryan Bloom, win number 4, in a moment. But first, okay, so he has surpassed his Nashville finish back in April of this year for 3rd. He had a 4th place finish, 4 4th place finishes. He had a 3rd back in 2018 in an Xfinity car. That's why I'm a stat guy, Frank Harris. And in your 313th start, bud, you finally get a podium finish in the Northwest Series for the trucks. Congratulations. I know in this number 11 Ford, it's got to be a win for you.
It is a win. I'll tell you what, I've never worked so hard on the last 5 laps. It was crazy. Devin and Ryan, they were trying to do everything to keep me back there. And I noticed that on the front straight, Ryan was pulling down to the 2nd lane to catch the draft for Devin. And I just kept her hammered and did the best. And these guys are hard to beat. They're fun to race with. And I really enjoy this league. It's a fun league to be in. And it took a long time to get here.
Yeah, talk about that whole sequence, because we're looking at what happened on the restart, things getting bundled up, and then all of a sudden you're 3 wide for the race lead. That was an intense setup, it looked like, and then an intense few laps in that sequence.
I have a Fitbit watch on, and I looked at my heart rate at the end of the race, and it was 124, 125 beats per minute. And so I'm sure that during that stint, especially when we went 3 wide there, I thought for sure, I was a meatball, so I had to hold it straight and make sure that I didn't get into the outside or slip down. And I can't believe we held it. I don't know how many corners we held it, but it was really fun racing with these guys, being up front. But I bet my heartbeat was about probably 130, 135 beats per minute there at the last stints.
I was going to say, Frank Harris, buddy, it's got to be a good feeling to know that you're able to compete with these guys and get on the podium. It's got to be a good feeling because normally you're in the back, or you getting a wreck, or you're a victim of circumstances of getting called in things that ain't your fault. And man, listen, I love seeing guys like yourselves. I've always loved the underdog story, and man, I gotta say it. I got love for Ryan Bloom and West, all these guys on the podium. But there was a part of me that had that underdog saying, come on, Frank, I want to see you pull off a win here. You'll have to see what you can do later on this year for sure.
For sure, no doubt, especially at Talladega. I'm hoping to get into the playoffs. I've been in the playoffs every year except for I think last year was the only year I wasn't in the playoffs. And
right.
I want to make the playoffs again this year, so we'll see.
Sponsors.
Yeah, I want to thank CLICKIT RV. If you ever need an RV and go out camping, especially out here in the Northwest, man, stop by CLICKIT RV, get yourself a camper, and go out and hike those trails, man. Want to thank Kevin Smith for CLICKIT RV and Jeff, John, you guys put on a marvelous show, and I love racing with you guys. And I'm hoping to be here another 4 or 5 more years. I want to thank my teammates, Rob Gamble and Steven. They're awesome teammates, great to run with, and Aerokinetics for bringing us on to their oh shoot, I lost my words. But I want to thank Aerokinetics for being our sponsor, and I hope you guys had fun watching the race, and this is what it's all about, is having fun watching the race.
Frank Harris finishing in third again, best career finish ever in the Northwest Truck Series tonight here at Pocono.
Thank you, CLICKIT RV. Thank you, LSRTV. You guys are awesome, man. You guys are awesome to watch too. Love watching you guys. You guys have fun up there.
It was a good time tonight. Thank you, Frank Harris. Third place on the podium again tonight, after, again, a 4th place earlier this season at Nashville. We'll grab now Devin West. Devin West will settle for 2nd spot, obviously climbing now to 6th in the points. 3 wins for this driver. And, man, I'll tell you what, Devin, this was a pretty interesting race tonight in the booth. What was it like inside the cockpit? Are you happy with silver?
I'm happy that I finished the race. I think interesting was a appropriate way of summing it up. Definitely long, frustrating 80 laps. I felt like I had the best truck here. And Jeff gave me an awesome truck for me, Dad, Sean, Brett, John, all of us. But unfortunately, this track just doesn't really reward that. And nothing anybody in front of me did wrong. I mean, I don't blame them for everything they did. I just, for 65 laps, I felt like I was had the better truck, and I just couldn't do anything with it. So it's frustrating. And then obviously these races kind of suck. I don't really enjoy them because you walk away inevitably owing like 5 guys an apology. Obviously Kevin being the main one. Hopefully he knows that I never try to wreck him. I feel bad for it. But no, Ryan did good. Those guys were fast enough to keep me behind him. And so I gotta pay my respects for that.
So, on the positive, your truck seemed to be very quick on the long run. How was that building process for your team this week? One of the first races, mind you, that doesn't follow that RTP schedule.
Yeah, we put a decent amount of time in. Obviously, I haven't been racing for a few weeks now. And kind of hit off the setup right away, and so we just kind of had fun in practice and just winning this race. Just relaxed and honestly didn't think we had the truck to win after qualifying, but was surprised enough to see that the truck was great, especially off the corners. Just forward bite was amazing. So yeah, like I said, this track it's I don't know, not my favorite.
Well, man, obviously I can sense that you're frustrated, Devin. But man, before I do let you go, I just want you to thank your sponsors. And obviously we're going to places like Texas and Phoenix. There are 2 definitely different racetracks compared to where we were tonight, for sure, in closing.
Yeah, obviously CLICKIT RV, Kevin bringing that sponsorship to the series is awesome. So big shout out to him and obviously them. Then LSRTV in the booth. You guys are obviously, like Frank said, amazing and have a ton of fun, which is always fun to watch. Then my sponsors, obviously, Effective Web Solutions, Kenny Custom Hardwood, and Motorsports Distributing. Obviously, big shout out to them for everything they do for me. And then obviously, shout out to Ryan, awesome win for him. And really all those guys up there. I had fun battle with them, even though I know it was frustrating. Yeah.
Pretty wild one tonight when it's all said and done. Devin West, by the way, with 3 wins on the year, now moves up to 6th in the point standings to have now with 11 starts, 9 top 5s, and 10 top 10s for the Shelton Washington driver. That is the driver, the number 5, again, a Devin West. We'll go to victory lane now. Ryan Bloom looking for the points lead. Going to be a little bit short by just 13 points. However, he now joins the all-time winner of the season now with 4 wins in 14 starts, 7 top 5s and 10 top 10s. Ryan Bloom back-to-back as well as he won at Okayama 2 weeks ago before 4th of July. Ryan, congratulations. Another big win for Win Racing.
Yeah, thanks a lot. That was kind of a wild finish there and just kind of a messy second half of that race. Lots of cautions and yeah, I mean, it just created opportunities for mixed strategies, and obviously there at the end with Frank having fresher tires, I was in full on defensive mode, just trying to bring it home and hit my marks, and luckily I did. But yeah, it's a crazy finish. Still trying to figure out what happened there on that restart. Kind of caught me off guard. Looks like Tyler jumped it a little bit, and then I got rammed from behind. So yeah, pretty wild, but yeah, really happy to bring it home. Definitely, I'm with Devin. This is not one of my favorite tracks, and not something I expect to really do, like get a win at. You know, I can do well here, but usually getting a win's probably not on my mind, typically. But kind of things fell into place. So all in all, we had a really fast setup, and yeah, Devin did a hell of a job. You know, keeping up with, you know, we had 3 really fast trucks, and yeah, I could see some of the frustration building there, but you know, we just tried to hold them off as best we could.
It seemed like a big-time battle indeed to be able to control the tempo and control the strategies of this race. I'm very curious on this because I hear in the background, is everything okay? It sounds like a fireworks show is going on for this win as well. After all, you're leading the way in wins. Are you, first of all, on that mark? Second, the season as a whole doing strongly.
Well, first off, yeah, sorry about that. We've got some fans running up here. It's pretty hot.
It's big to have your biggest fans.
Yeah, I got a big fan club here. So, sorry, what was the second part of that?
Second part of that, though, is you're now the leader of the season in wins. How, in turn, would you describe that building up with so much momentum now for the postseason in a couple months?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like got a lot of momentum going on. Kind of had a lull there, you know, kind of the middle of this portion of the season where I wasn't really getting the finish that I think I probably could have had. So yeah, to get 2 wins in a row, that's pretty awesome. I know, not the points lead, but I'll take wins and any day, I guess. So so what I'm trying to do is get wins. So I think this is just a momentum builder for the rest of the season, and looking forward to getting in the playoffs and competing there. Should be a lot of fun.
Well, I don't think you need to worry about the playoffs. You just need to focus on running for a championship. You've done what you needed to do. Obviously, though, you're 13 points back to Dennis Moore with a points update. Jeff Stab now, even with a bad night for him, he still finishes on the top 12. Ennis is up with 48 points back in third. Dan West Jr., solid top 20 finish for him again tonight. He'll still be 70 points back, along with Toby Ritters and even Devin West, the top 6 on it. Bacher, Breitzman, White, O'Hare in the top 10. But final question, segue this into thanking your sponsors. Man, what can you say about drivers like Frank Harris or Toby Ritters? People like yourself at one time, Ryan Bloom, that used to be on the bottom of the totem pole, that struggled, that felt like, man, why am I doing this? Hanging on, not giving up, and having these opportunities to get interviews and being on the podium.
I think it's great if we can get a different group of guys up here and not always the same guys. I think that's great. Just kind of shows those guys hard work coming through and their perseverance of trying to get better and still want to compete and have fun. So I think it's awesome. Get Frank, and yeah, I know it's been a while for him, but yeah, hate to happen to hold him off like that. I know he's trying to get that win, but he did a heck of a job, and congrats to him. So this was good to see.
Sponsors.
Yeah, just want to thank you guys, LSRTV Broadcasting, of course, CLICKIT RV for sponsoring the series and sponsoring our team. A lot of fun having them on board, and just shout out to Jeff and Sean, all the admins for putting this on. It's been a lot of fun.
Win for the year, now 13 points back in the championship run before the playoffs to the driver, Dennis Moore. He also has gone back-to-back after winning at Okayama 2 weeks ago before the 4th of July break. Winner tonight at 200 miles at Pocono, the number 25 for Win Racing. That is Ryan Bloom. Well, Justin Prince will pack her up, man. Your take of this race. On to Texas next week. We've got Watkins Glen for the RGL Motorsports GT3 Series finale on Wednesday. Always fun seeing what the Northwest provides. Your final thoughts.
A mixture of chaos, a mixture of speed, a mixture of strategy. It's quintessential Pocono when it comes to iRacing, and we've seen how it went all tonight. In turn, though, it was about making sure you run the right cycle, but also was able to survive at the end. And Ryan Bloom is in the conversation all night long, right from the get-go, in fact, and prove why he was in that boat. I will say this, Frank Harris, absolutely impressive to be able to make his way through those final stages, to take advantage of the chaos, to be able to battle for that win.
Off to Texas, obviously, again next Monday night, then Phoenix, and then we have another week break, and roaring towards Labor Day, and very close to the run to the playoffs. By the way, the playoffs don't even fire up until actually right after Labor Day weekend, September 5th, and then you've got that run to the championship. Believe it or not, just 6 races remain before the final cut race to make it into the playoffs again on Labor Day. All of that transpiring. We hope that you can join us for it. For Rocket Racing Media, iRacing, LSRTV, and CRN. For Dev Staff now, Charles Wooten, great job at the broadcast booth. As always on production. For Justin Prince, this is Wesley Outland. Congratulations to Ryan Bloom, winner tonight at Pocono. We'll see you next week in Texas.